It's the last weekend of August, and it's Labor Day weekend. It's officially underway. Millions of Americans have been hitting the roads or catching a flight for one last taste of summer. But are they well prepared for these travel hiccups and heavy traffic? Joining us now is travel expert Jeanenne Tornatore. Jeanenne, what are the biggest travel challenges that people should expect this weekend? I mean, I've already had family that had cancellations, and a lot of them weren't even weather related. Can you kind of speak to some of the differences in the cancellations and delays that we could see across the country this week?
Absolutely. Well, I'll start with the fact that a lot of it can be also related to travel volume. TSA is expecting this to be the busiest Labor Day travel weekend on record at the airport. So when you do have those delays, cancellations related to things like weather, it's just compounded when you have that much volume at the airport. So of course, you always want to make sure you're arriving early. Those real ID requirements are in effect. But when it comes to delays and cancellations, always have your airline app downloaded on your phone, have those push notifications set up so you're getting all the information in as much in advance as possible. That's the best thing that you can do, is just really be informed.
Yeah, you have to be prepared as best you can, because nothing beats that feeling of seeing the delay or knowing you're going to miss a connecting flight, and that anxiety, that ball of stress that sits in your stomach when that happens. Do you have any kind of tips, maybe not only for airports, but also on the road, if they're heading out today or for their coming home, what they can do to potentially avoid some of the delays and stress? I know recently some of the airlines have put in, if you get canceled for weather-related purposes, there can be some kind of reimbursement going on. Can you speak to some of that?
Sure. Well, when it comes to the roads, of course, this is a big drive weekend for travelers. And the best rule of thumb you can remember every single day, whether you're heading out to your destination or heading home at the end of the weekend, is depart early. So get on the roads as early as possible. Data shows that you want to be on the roads, before 10 a.m. really, any day that you're traveling this week. There's also still a lot of construction out there, so that's just another thing to be mindful of. Also on the roads, we're seeing, according to RV Share, which is the largest RV rental site in the U.S., this is one of the most popular weekends for RV rentals. So you're going to see a lot of those types of recreational vehicles on the road. They say actually that a growing popular option is having RVs delivered to your campsite, so people don't necessarily have to get out and drive those during this busy time and this type of traffic. So, that's going to be something that we're seeing big this weekend. Again, going back to the airports, you mentioned, getting there early is your best option. The rule of thumb is always 2 hours arrival for domestic flights, 3 hours for international. And I will also say that even if you have those expedited services like Clear, like TSA PreCheck, there's going to be long lines at those as well. So make sure that you're getting there early. Again, if you're checking bags, you need to be there even earlier as well.
Yeah, you mentioned getting there early, even if you have TSA PreCheck. Sometimes the TSA PreCheck line is longer than the normal line because everybody wants that expedited access. So just something to kind of keep in mind for folks. But what's been recent is this new data has been showing a steep drop in airfares this year. Is there an explanation maybe for this trend that we're seeing, or are folks just preferring jumping in the car and doing those long distance road trips? My dad, if it was under 24 hours of a drive, we were driving.
Yeah, exactly. I can relate to that as well. Yes, we're certainly seeing more people take those road trips, especially on these long weekends when people don't want to go quite as far. They want to do those quick road trips closer to home. Again, like I said, those camping trips are big for weekends like this. But yeah, when it comes to volume this weekend, one of the reasons we're seeing so many people out there is because we are seeing prices across the board down for Labor Day weekend. Airfare prices down about 6% compared to last year. The average airline ticket around $720. That still doesn't sound that cheap to me for a domestic airfare. Hotels on average down about 11% this holiday weekend, and car rentals around 3%. So across the board, everyone is saving a little bit, and I definitely think that's contributing to this being a very busy last long weekend of the summer.
For sure. I mean, you talk about $700 for a domestic trip. That hurts the bank account. And living in New York, it's actually cheaper to fly to Europe than it is domestically at times. But I will take any drop in prices that we can get. Travel expert Jeanenne Tornatore, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.